In America, everyone counts, and the 2020 census is how that great promise is kept. Respond today online, by phone, or by mail, and help inform hundreds of billions in funding for education, health programs, and more. Shape your future. Start at 2020census.gov. You have been, of course, fighting many of these white conservative evangelicals over when it comes to the poor and other public policy issues. And one of the biggest folks who has refused to debate you. In fact, when y'all went down to Lynchburg, Virginia, Jerry Falwell Jr. issued a statement saying that if any of y'all even step foot on that campus, y'all were to be arrested. Well, today he's no longer the president of that university, the world's largest Christian university, because of a report where this pool boy down in Miami said that he had an affair with Jerry Falwell's wife, would have sex with her, and Jerry Falwell would be sitting there watching them do it. He tried to release a statement yesterday, put it on his wife saying she had the affair, he wasn't involved, and it was an extortion attempt. After this story dropped, clearly the board of trustees didn't buy that. Now he is out as president. Look, humans are humans, folk sin. But the issue here is that folk like Jerry Falwell Jr. have attacked, berated, used their moral superiority lorded it over so many other people. And now lightness is busting him out. And now he's out as president of the university.
Well, you know, Roland, I'm not always up on all of my news. And you just informed me. I had heard about the piece about the fatal attraction. I didn't hear the last piece about them watching. But, you know, beyond all of that, as you say, people are sinful, people have their faults and their flaws. Jerry Falwell, like his father, is an extremist. And we have to remember, and a racist extremist. And we have to remember that most of these people got their call to fame. Jerry Falwell did, Senior Pat Robertson, in their standing against black people and the right to vote. It was Pat Robertson's daddy that coined the frame interposition and nullification. Jerry Falwell, as you remember, Senior came out against Bishop Tutu. They all were anti-desegregationists. They were all segregationists. They hated desegregation. And the whole issue around abortion was only after they could no longer publicly stand against the issue of desegregation. So Jerry Falwell has been a problem for a long time. You're exactly right, Roland. We went to Lynchburg to have a revival with other Christians. In fact, tomorrow night I'm doing a piece with them. It's called the Red Letter Christian. People who were formerly evangelicals, white evangelicals, they don't call themselves that anymore because of the way that term has been so abused. But he told us if we came on that campus to recruit students to the revival, that we would be arrested, that people would be arrested. And now he has been arrested because of his, I don't mean physically, by the police, but history is arresting him, and his own immorality is arresting him. And it happens. How often has this happened down through the years, Roland? I could read the list. I won't go off all of them, but you can find time and time down through the history the people who claim to be so much better than black people, so much better than gay people, so much better than everybody else. And then something happens and the wool gets pulled off and you see, so much ugliness. But I don't want people to get distracted. The Board of Trustee members, most of them that will remove him for this, and it had to be this extreme, will also fight to block your health care and fight to encourage voter suppression. Don't get it twisted. They will throw away one of their own. They talk a lot about being Christians and forgiveness and so forth and so on, but they will throw away anybody who undermines their claim to this great high morality above anybody else, particularly gay people and so forth and so on. But while they still will maintain their political immorality and being against voter rights, against living wages, against health care, and really against democracy.
So the saga with Jerry Falwell Jr. continues. Now he is saying he has not resigned. Now he was so upset by the coverage that he called into this Virginia outlet to say that no, he is still on indefinite leave and he has not resigned.
What a time to be
I'm sorry.
alive.
I'm sorry. So I'm laughing
No,
because the
nobody had this.
hypocrisy is just ridiculous. I grew up in a mega church. I know the inner workings on an intimate level of leadership and politics and all of that stuff. And it's so petty to me and incredibly obvious how hypocritical he is. I would not be surprised if, in fact, I'm pretty sure I saw some articles today where the pool boy in question is saying that he had an entanglement, so to speak, with both the wife and the husband, which would not be surprising to me at all, because that's usually where it ends up leading to. So I just feel like just living your truth and stuff like this won't happen. To have a ministry that is so restrictive in how you're supposed to love and feel and function, none of which are delineated in the Bible. I mean, we can go back and forth on that, but regardless, if you have this in you, why teach it a different way to somebody else? Because not only are you restricting them, you're restricting yourself.
Okay.
And what comes in the dark comes to light.
Okay.
And
First of all,
I just find this dumb.
Okay, but this ain't no shock. Okay. First of all, you dealing with Donald Trump, Eugene, who's sitting there in the White House, and these fools have excused all of his freakiness and all of his drama. He just got ordered last week to pay the legal bills of a porn star.
I mean, their excuse is always, we're not electing a pastor, we are electing a president. And so, look, I mean, the conservative right has ceded the moral high ground probably for forever at this point. They have no place to talk about anything. Last week, they tried to, the night Bill Clinton was speaking, they dropped, his Epstein picture. They try to make all these moral equivalencies. No, you literally have no right to talk about anything at this point after, from 2015 on, when, gave their support to Trump. Some of them ran to Trump, and now, between now and then, they've completely controlled the Trump line. So, it's, the conservative right at this point is a joke.
I'm laughing, but here's the deal, though. I appreciate this, Mustafa, because we get to laugh with his ass all week as Republicans are meeting, and I'm sure morals, faith, values, family will come up along with super freaks.
Only thing I can say is Ezekiel 16, where they talked about Sodom and Gomorrah. He should read it again.
Hey, but again, though, they don't.
The interesting thing here. The lead-in to the convention is literally Jerry Falwell has a scandal. Any other year, one of the Falwells of them is speaking at the convention. But the lead-in to the RNC this year is Jerry Falwell has a huge moral failing scandal leading into the RNC. That should tell you everything you need to know about 2020 and the Republican Party.
I appreciate it, because we're going to be bored to death with that RNC convention. And so this gives us opportunity for lots of fun. All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. As our community comes together to support the fight against racial injustice, I want to take a second to talk about one thing we can do to ensure our voices are heard. Not tomorrow, but now. Have your voices heard in terms of what kind of future we want by taking the 2020 census today at 2020census.gov? Now, folks, let me help you out. The census is a count of everyone living in the country. It happens once every 10 years. It is mandated by the U.S. Constitution. The thing that's important is that the census informs funding, billions of dollars, how they are spent in our communities every single year. I grew up in Clinton Park in Houston, Texas, and we wanted new parks and roads and a senior citizen center. Well, the census helps inform all of that and where funding goes. It also determines how many seats your state will get in the U.S. House of Representatives. Young black men and young children of color are historically undercounted, which means a potential loss of funding of services that helps our community. Folks, we have the power to change that. We have the power to help determine where hundreds of billions in federal funding go each year for the next 10 years. Funding that can impact our community, our neighborhoods, and our families and friends. Folks, responses are 100% confidential and can't be shared with your landlord, law enforcement, or any government agency. So please, take the 2020 census today. Shape your future. Start at 2020census.gov.